Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're about to embark on the emotional journey of the 12 most extraordinary destinies on the planet. People born into hardships that seemed like a curse, yet who courageously created miraculous real-life stories. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next inspiring stories. Leave a comment below telling us which story touched your heart the most. And now, let's get started. The life of Saadat Hossain, a 47-year-old father living in the rural poverty of Sirajganj, was once a long stretch of darkness as he struggled with severe neurofibromatosis. This devastating condition turned his entire body into a network of dense bubble-like tumors. More frighteningly, the tumors on his face continued to grow, gradually covering his eyes, pushing him toward irreversible blindness and taking away his ability to work as the family's main provider. Despite living with deep physical pain and self-consciousness, the burning love he had for his wife and children never faded in the heart of this suffering father. Standing on the fragile edge of permanent darkness, Saadat Hossain entered a desperate race against time to seek surgical treatment. His heartfelt plea touched the compassion of the international community. Support from kind-hearted people around the world brought a miracle, giving him enough funding to undergo a life-changing major surgery in the capital. The surgery was successfully completed, removing the layers of tumors that had weighed heavily on his face and restoring Saadat Hossain's eyesight, along with a much lighter appearance. Now he is able to carry out daily activities on his own, see his children smile and walk confidently under the sunlight. Saadat Hossain's story is a powerful testament to the strength of human compassion, affirming that kindness and sharing are the flames that can relight lives that once seemed to have reached their darkest dead end. Courtney Blackmore entered adulthood carrying a severe challenge visibly marked on her face. Born with cystic lymphatic malformation, a condition that caused large tumors around her chin and neck, the young woman from California endured a childhood filled with tears. The large mass made it impossible for Courtney to fully close her mouth like others, severely affecting her ability to speak and turning her into a target of cruel teasing and bullying at school. However, instead of retreating into darkness, Courtney Blackmore chose a very special weapon to face life, she sang. On YouTube, among millions of polished videos, Courtney appeared in a simple yet proud and dignified way. When the music played and she began to sing, all physical imperfections seemed to fade away, giving way to a voice with perfect pitch, pure tone, and deep emotion that touched the deepest parts of the audience's hearts. Each uploaded video was not merely a musical product, but a powerful statement of resilience. The 20-year-old used melody as a shield to protect her spirit and her voice, to connect with and build a global community of fans around the world. Courtney Blackmore proved a simple truth: appearance may not fit society's standard of perfection, but a beautiful soul and true talent always carry the power to overcome every barrier. In a small village in the state of Punjab, the life of 6-year-old Pranshu unfolds in a very unique atmosphere where the boundary between medicine and spiritual faith is deeply intertwined. Born with a mysterious congenital condition that caused a large swelling on his forehead, Along with deep, narrow eyes, he is unable to walk normally like other children. Yet instead of facing discrimination, fate has placed him in a highly sacred role within the spiritual life of the local community. Pranshu's unusually shaped face unintentionally bears a striking resemblance to the image of the elephant-headed deity Ganesha, a figure associated in Hindu culture with good fortune and blessings. Locals believe that the boy is a divine incarnation sent to protect them. Every day, large crowds from many places respectfully line up outside the temple near his home, hoping to catch a glimpse of him and bow to receive blessings from the child they call Lord Ganesha. From a scientific perspective, Pranshu is a pediatric patient with a congenital physical condition. However, within the loving world surrounding him, the villager's faith has become an invisible shield that protects him from psychological harm. His father has shared that he feels grateful and happy that his child's presence brings hope and peace to the entire community. Pranshu's story shows that sometimes love and reverence can transform physical adversity into a symbol of peace and reassurance. At just 3 years old, an age when children are usually running and playing freely, Akshaj is already carrying a major medical challenge. Klippel-Trenaunay syndrome, KTS, an extremely rare genetic disorder affecting roughly 1 in 100,000 people, has caused his entire right leg to overgrow, becoming about 4 times larger than his other leg, accompanied by large birthmark-like bruises and prominent veins visible beneath his fragile skin. Living in Dwarka, every unsteady step taken by Akshaj is a silent battle against physical pain. With one side of his body significantly enlarged, maintaining balance is a difficult task for a 3-year-old child. Yet his eyes never lose their innocence and curiosity. He continues to try walking, continues to explore his small toys, and uses a quiet inner strength to prove that illness cannot overpower his spirit. Accompanying Akshaj is the boundless love of his parents as they continue searching for advanced treatment options. Looking at his determined spirit, we understand that human strength is not measured by the perfection of one's legs, but by the very desire to keep moving forward. Do you think a family's love can create medical miracles? Leave a comment to share your thoughts, and don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Diagnosed with ectopia, cordis heart outside the chest cavity at 20 weeks of gestation, a condition with a 95% mortality rate, baby girl Kiran wrote a miraculous medical saga in the emergency room. After a breathtaking surgery to place her heart inside her chest cavity immediately after birth, she bravely defied fate to grow up healthy in her parents' arms. Her heart, once exposed to the elements, now beat strongly like a true warrior, becoming a living symbol of sacred maternal love, a strength that can help a tiny life overcome the harshest laws of nature. With an extraordinary height of up to 2.16 meters and a weight nearing 180 kilograms, while still a 17-year-old high school student, Brave Williams always drew attention wherever he went. His growth journey was unique, as his body developed at a rapid pace. From an early age, by the age of 5, he was already as tall as a 10-year-old child. While his unusually large physique sometimes caused inconveniences, the young man chose to turn this difference into a unique advantage. On the basketball and football fields of a high school in New York City, Brave appeared like a towering mountain, becoming a source of strength and helping his teammates achieve remarkable victories. However, what truly earned Brave the respect of those around him was not his physical power, but his warm personality. Behind his imposing appearance was a deeply gentle soul, a gentle giant who lived peacefully and cherished his family. Brave Williams is currently training every day with the goal of earning a full athletic scholarship to college and stepping into the professional arena. His story carries a powerful message of self-positioning. When you have a distinctive trait, instead of hiding it in self-doubt, you should find the right environment where it belongs. In that place, the very difference that once made you feel out of place can become the brightest crown that helps you affirm your own value. Mark Inglis is a New Zealand mountaineer who achieved an extraordinary milestone by becoming the first double amputee in history to successfully conquer Mount Everest. After suffering a devastating frostbite accident in 1982 when he was trapped in a blizzard, for 14 days, he was forced to have both legs amputated below the knee. Instead of giving up his passion for climbing, Mark treated his prosthetic legs as a new challenge, training relentlessly to adapt to the harshest environments on Earth. Mark Inglis's journey to the top of the world in 2006 was a true battle between determination and physical limitations. Even when one of his prosthetic legs broke at an altitude of 6,400 meters, Mark calmly repaired it himself and continued climbing, astonishing the international mountaineering community. He proved that when the mind is strong enough, physical disabilities cannot stop a person from reaching heights once thought to be reserved only for the strongest and healthiest individuals. Mark Inglis's life today is an epic anthem of unbreakable perseverance. From mountaineer and winemaker to Paralympic athlete, he has proven that the only true limit humans face is fear itself. Mark reminds the world that hardships are merely stepping stones to greater heights. Are you ready to overcome your fears and conquer your own mountain? Leave a comment to share your thoughts, and don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Hugh Herr was once a young climbing prodigy before a devastating blizzard in 1982 caused severe frostbite, leading to the amputation of both legs below the knee. At the time, doctors believed his athletic career was completely over. However, instead of accepting his fate, Hugh personally designed specialized prosthetic legs with flexible structures that allowed him to continue conquering steep rock faces that even the most able-bodied climbers would hesitate to attempt. What makes Hugh Herr truly remarkable is how he transformed personal tragedy into a scientific revolution by becoming a professor at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He developed bionic leg technology that uses sensors and algorithms to accurately replicate the movements of human muscles and the nervous system. The prosthetic legs he created not only enabled him to climb again, but also helped thousands of people with disabilities around the world walk, run, and dance with natural grace and fluidity. The life of Hugh Herr is a testament to how technology can blur the line between disability and extraordinary ability. He does not see prosthetics as replacements for loss, but as a new step forward for humanity in upgrading the limits of the human body. For Hugh, disability is not defined by people, but by the current limits of technology. And through his journey, he has sparked hope for a future where all physical barriers can be broken through intelligence and determination. Amy Mullins was born with a rare congenital condition of missing fibula bones, which forced her to have both legs amputated below the knee when she was just 1 year old. However, instead of accepting a limited life, she turned her prosthetic legs into tools to conquer new heights across many different fields. What set Amy apart was her pioneering mindset, as she did not see prosthetic legs as replacements for what was missing, but as works of art that helped her redefine the boundaries of human ability. In sports, Amy Mullins made history at the 1996 Atlanta Paralympic Games by becoming the first athlete to compete using carbon fiber prosthetic legs designed to mimic the limbs of a cheetah. This achievement not only earned her world records, but also opened a new era for prosthetic technology in elite sports. She proved that with technological support and unbreakable willpower, a person without legs can still run faster and push beyond the conventional limits of the human body. Beyond the track, Amy Mullins also became a renowned model and a globally recognized inspirational speaker. She once walked the runway for Alexander McQueen, wearing intricately carved wooden prosthetic legs, blurring the boundary between disability and artistic beauty. Her story reminds us that confidence and creativity can transform even the harshest adversity into a symbol of strength, allowing each individual to design a vibrant and truly unique life. Philippe Croizon was once an ordinary worker, until a devastating electric shock accident in 1994 forced doctors to amputate all 4 of his limbs in order to save his life. After years of deep depression, a turning point came when he watched a swimming program and decided to pursue an impossible goal: crossing the English Channel. What sets Philippe apart is his nothing is impossible mindset, as he spent 2 years training intensely with specially designed prosthetic flippers attached directly to his limb stumps. In 2010, Philippe Croizon amazed the world by completing a swim across the English Channel in over 13 hours. Not stopping there, he went on to carry out a project to swim across the 5 continents via some of the most dangerous straits on the planet, spreading a message of unity and resilience. Every stroke he took was not only an effort to overcome physical barriers, but also a statement that the strength of the human spirit can allow people to master even the vast oceans. Now, Philippe Croizon is a Dakar rally competitor and a motivational speaker who often uses humor to overcome adversity. He proves that losing one's limbs does not mean the end of dreams. The biggest barrier is only fear in the mind. In the face of hardship, will you choose to smile and confront it, or surrender to fate? Leave a comment and let us know. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to spread this positive energy. Zoe entered this world with a body marked by a fragile fate, like glass branches under the sun. Even while still in her mother's womb, her tiny bones were already breaking, and when her first cry of life was heard, her collarbone was immediately injured. That pain seemed almost unimaginable. for a child, as statistics showed that before her first birthday, the baby girl had already suffered more than 100 fractures of varying severity. However, that cruel condition of brittle bone disease never extinguished Zoe's bright smile or her clear, innocent eyes. Even though a strong wind or a tight hug could cause injury to her body, the 6-year-old girl grew up with the spirit of a little warrior in California, her home filled with the boundless love of her parents, and her younger brother became a sanctuary of peace that sheltered this fragile flower as she crossed the harsh boundaries of survival. Seeing Zoe living independently in her wheelchair with resilience, people no longer see a fragile pediatric patient, but a radiant symbol of human willpower. Her story is not one of sorrow, but an inspiring anthem about the value of every fully lived moment. Zoe did not come into this world to break, but to teach us a lesson about courage, proving that a strong spirit can support even the most fragile body. On the day twins Abigail and Isabel cried out at birth, the world of Jody and Matt Perry seemed to come to a standstill when they received the medical diagnosis that both children had Down syndrome. In medical terms, the likelihood of identical twins both having this condition is extremely rare at about 1 in a million births. Amid overwhelming anxiety, the two little angels used their pure innocence and tight embraces to rekindle hope in their small home in the United Kingdom. As time passed, the two 5-year-old girls grew up looking adorable, like two peas in a pod often seen in matching jeans and cute suede boots. Instead of viewing their condition as a misfortune, their parents chose to embrace them as a sacred blessing entrusted by nature. Their unsteady first steps, joyful laughter, and eyes full of love transformed all rigid societal prejudices into the sounds of family happiness. When asked about their journey, the parents of the two girls proudly shared that even if a miracle could allow their children to be born again without Down syndrome, they would still refuse it. For them, the two girls are already the most perfect pieces, needing no changes or corrections of any kind. The Perry family's story is proof that difference is never a defect, it is simply a different, purer way of defining love. The greatest tragedy of his life struck when Edgard was just 4 years old. A horrific traffic accident permanently took away his legs from the knees down. Growing up with clunky metal prosthetic legs, Edgard's childhood was filled with self-doubt and the curious, discriminatory stares of his peers. To escape this harsh reality, he always chose to wear baggy pants to hide his disability, living quietly in the shadows and constantly doubting the uncertain future ahead. However, a turning point in Edgard's life came when he entered the gym where he found a fair world. One without pity, only celebrating sweat and discipline. Instead of continuing to run away from fate, he made a bold decision. He pulled up his pants to reveal his bionic legs and turned them into a symbol of steely determination. Through extraordinary efforts to overcome all biological limitations, Edgard made history as a prestigious IFBB Pro professional bodybuilder and a world-renowned fitness model with an admirable muscular physique. Now, Edgard John Augustin has reached the pinnacle of success, not to prove himself different, but to ignite a flame of hope for those on the brink of despair. He tells the world that the greatest obstacle for human beings has never been their physical bodies, but the limitations they impose on their own minds. His story is a triumphant hymn, demonstrating indomitable strength. When you bravely accept life's scars, that is when you transform them into your own proudest crown. At a peaceful village of Graveney in the Kent region of England, there is a house standing in isolation with an interior space completely different from the rest of the world. Passing through the gate surrounded by a towering chain-link fence, the inside of the house is entirely empty, no luxurious furniture, no carpets, and the furnishings are reduced to an extreme minimalism with every door kept locked. It is a specially designed home built by Mark Montague and Annie Montague to protect their 11-year-old twin sons, Samuel Montague and Jacob Montague, who have severe autism since they were 2 years old. Behind that seemingly cold emptiness lies a deeply moving story of boundless parental sacrifice. Because the severe autism condition of the twins causes them to easily fall into panic and have a tendency to self-harm, Mark Montague and Annie Montague chose to give up the comforts of their personal lives, even removing wall decorations and securing every object with one single purpose: to create an absolutely safe environment for their children. Each day for them is an extraordinary journey of patience, raising their sons with unconditional compassion and care. But the world of the Montague is not confined to those strict walls. When the evening light falls over the nearby beach, one can witness a deeply moving scene. The two boys joyfully chasing waves, their laughter blending with the sound of the sea breeze, while their parents walk beside them watching with hearts full of happiness. Their home may be minimal in material things, but the love and understanding within it are boundless. Throughout her childhood, Ali Stoss endured a long period of emotional pain as she became the target of cruel jokes from her peers. With an unusually rapid growth spurt, Ali had already reached 1.90 meters in height by the age of 12 and eventually grew to 2.06 meters as an adult. The harsh nickname Godzilla given to her by bullies throughout her school years left a deep emotional scar, causing the young girl to constantly withdraw and try to hide from the world. However, at 27, Ali Stoss underwent a remarkable transformation in both mindset and lifestyle. She realized that her extraordinary height was not a curse, but a one-of-a-kind gift that made her impossible to blend into the crowd. Ali began to learn how to love her body, embracing her size, 14 feet with pride, and chose to step into the spotlight as a freelance model to affirm her identity. The confidence she radiates has turned her stature into a form of powerful beauty. Now, whenever walking through the streets in the United States, Ali Stoss no longer lowers her head in fear of curious stares. She walks with her head held high, smiling as she receives admiration from the surrounding crowd. Ali Stoss has turned past insults into stepping stones toward the peak of self-ownership, delivering an inspiring message to women everywhere: have the courage to love your differences and define beauty on your own terms. We often define normal as a standard, but these 12 individuals have proven that difference is the true gift of uniqueness. They did not choose to erase the scars of fate, but instead turned them into proud brush strokes on the canvas of their lives. As you can see, the world does not need more perfect copies. It needs courageous souls willing to live brightly in their own way. As we close these stories, I hope you also find the most confident version of yourself within. If you've just found a bit of motivation or simply a quiet, emotional moment over the past few minutes, consider leaving a like to help spread this energy. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey together, exploring more of life's amazing stories. Share your thoughts or leave a comment below so we can talk together. Thank you for watching and see you at the next stop. What happens when the genetic blueprint malfunctions or when a core part of the body is suddenly disconnected? From feet that take over the function of knee joints to perfectly efficient mobility systems without the need for hands, these are not just stories of determination, but medical cases that challenge every conventional law of physics. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you can explore the next system mysteries with us. Do you believe in the extreme adaptability of the human body? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's begin right now. Macy Curran is not simply a tall girl. She is a living study of how the human skeletal framework can reach its physical limits. With legs measuring more than 135 centimeters accounting for up to 60% of her total height, Macy has broken the traditional rules of the golden ratio. This creates a biological engineering puzzle, how the circulatory system pushes blood over a much longer distance from the heart to the feet, and how the spine can maintain balance when the body's center of gravity is positioned completely differently from that of an average person. In terms of adaptation, Mackie's life is a series of efforts to adjust the systems around her, which were designed for people of average height. From having custom-made clothing to modifying her sitting posture in cars or airplanes, every daily activity becomes a spatial challenge. From an engineering perspective, we see an extraordinary effort by the muscular system to keep an oversized skeletal frame stable, preventing injuries caused by gravitational pressure acting on long joints. Macy Curran did not hide away but actively hacked stereotypes to turn her record-breaking legs into a unique brand advantage on digital platforms. This is not just a story about height, but a lesson in redefining personal aesthetic systems in the digital era. Are you ready to turn your greatest difference into your most powerful weapon the way Mackie did? Leave a comment so we can discuss it together. Don't forget to like, share, and give us a subscribe to support the next decoding journeys. John Allaire was once a typical example of metabolic system collapse when his body weight reached 245 kilograms. In that state, every internal organ from the heart and liver to the lungs had to operate at more than 200% capacity just to maintain basic survival indicators. From a biological analysis perspective, his body at that time resembled a machine overheating under extreme load, where excess fat layers were no longer merely stored energy, but had become an invasive system compressing blood vessels and deforming the skeletal structure under immense pressure. Determined to change for love, John launched a large-scale restructuring campaign by adopting an extremely strict calorie deficit diet and high-intensity training. This was not simply about losing weight, but a complete overhaul of the hormone system and the brain's chemical responses. The process helped him eliminate more than 136 kilograms of excess fat, an unimaginable number within normal biological limits, transforming him from someone who struggled with basic movement into a man capable of performing high-intensity physical workouts. However, the most significant difference in John's story lies in the post-weight loss phase, the adaptation of the skin. When fat tissue disappears too quickly, the human skin system, although elastic but limited, cannot shrink back in time, leaving behind massive layers of excess skin. Surgical removal of dozens of kilograms of excess skin became the final step in this metamorphosis. John's story is a lesson in how remarkably the human body system can recover when provided with the right strategy and iron discipline. Arya Parmana was once known to the world by an unwanted nickname, the heaviest boy in the world at the age of 10, weighing 192 kilograms. From a systems analysis perspective, this was a severe malfunction in the brain's satiety signaling mechanism, leading to food consumption many times greater than what a child actually needed. Arya's digestive system had expanded to extreme limits, creating a pathological loop. The more he ate, the larger his stomach became, and the stronger his hunger signals grew, seriously threatening his survival. A turning point occurred when medicine intervened with gastric bypass surgery, an aggressive but necessary intervention into the system's structure. By reducing the size of the stomach pouch, doctors forced the digestive system to send full signals to the brain much earlier. The result was a rapid drop in weight, allowing Arya for the first time to move, run, and participate in physical activities. This stands as proof that when natural methods fail, altering the physical structure of the body can save a life. Arya is now proof of the successful reconstruction of a biological system through the combination of medicine and personal determination. The greatest difference lies not only in his weight, but in a complete transformation of awareness and a sustainable lifestyle. In your opinion, in this extreme physical overhaul, is self-discipline or medical technology the decisive factor? Share your perspective below, and don't forget to hit like, share, and leave a subscribe to support us. Gabby Schul's story is one of the most classic examples of using biomedical engineering to overcome adversity. After losing part of her leg due to bone cancer instead of accepting a limited life, she underwent rotation-plasty surgery. In this procedure, the doctors took a bold step, rotating her foot 180 degrees and attaching it to the remaining thigh. The goal was to turn the ankle joint into a functional knee joint, allowing Gabby to use a prosthetic limb more effectively than with any traditional method. From a nervous system analysis perspective, this presented a challenge to the brain. It took a long time for the neural signals to learn how to control a foot in a completely new way, flexing the ankle to generate the movement of a knee. Gabby's difference lies in the adaptability of her sensory motor system. She not only regained the ability to walk, but could also perform complex ballet movements, something once considered impossible for amputees. The reversed foot became a perfect drive mechanism for the modern prosthetic limb system. Gabby Shull is now a symbol of how people are not defined by what they lose, but by how they reconstruct what remains. In medical investigation videos, her case is often presented as a hypothesis about the future of human-machine hybrid cyborgs. Her difference lies in the seamless combination of iron will and remarkable advances in orthopedic surgery, creating a new mobility system that is stronger and more flexible than originally expected. Cassidy Hooper was born with a rare congenital structural deficiency. She had no nose or eyeballs from birth. This posed an extremely difficult challenge for reconstructive surgeons, as they did not simply need to repair but had to build an entire respiratory and aesthetic system from scratch. From an analytical perspective, Cassidy's face became a medical construction site that lasted for more than a decade, where each surgery was a foundational step in placing layers of tissue, cartilage, and skin to form a human appearance. The technical difference in Cassidy's case lies in using parts of her own body as building materials. Doctors took cartilage from her ribs and skin from her forehead to sculpt a complete nose. The vascular system was carefully calculated to ensure that the new tissues could survive and integrate into her face. This was not simply cosmetic surgery, but an intervention into biological structure to restore basic functions and bring confidence to an individual with severe defects. After enduring dozens of painful surgeries, Cassidy now has a complete face and an inspiring life. Her difference lies in her unshakable optimism, which has helped her overcome the curious stares of society. Through the lens of storytelling, Cassidy stands as proof that when a physical system is incomplete, the power of determination and the progress of science can work together to create a miracle, turning the unimaginable into a living reality. Isabel Wheel is living proof of the brain's ability to reprogram the motor system after a severe medical crisis. At just 7 years old, she developed acute meningitis that led to life-threatening sepsis. To save her life, doctors were forced to amputate all 4 of her limbs. From a biological perspective, Isabel's body had to almost completely reboot its motor system. Without arms and legs, she had to relearn how to maintain balance, move, and control her body. What seemed like the end of all mobility became the starting point of an extraordinary journey of adaptation. What makes Isabel remarkable is that she conquered trampoline gymnastics, a sport that demands precise coordination of the vestibular system and exceptional control of the body's center of gravity. After losing all 4 limbs, her body's center of gravity changed completely, forcing the brain to recalculate every neural signal to maintain balance. Isabel did not just train to move, she learned how to jump and rotate in mid-air. She turned the remaining parts of her body into an efficient source of momentum. Her success shows that the human nervous system can create entirely new pathways for movement. Isabel is now a prominent content creator, turning prosthetic technology into a perfect extension of her body. Instead of seeing it as a limitation, she has optimized assistive devices to break through ordinary mobility barriers. In your opinion, could future technology help humans go far beyond their natural biological limits? Share your perspective below. Don't forget to hit like, share, and give us a subscribe to support the next Decoding Cases. Charlotte Cleverly Bisman, often called Miraculous baby Charlotte is a remarkable medical case of survival after the circulatory system was severely attacked. When she was only a few months old, she contracted meningococcal bacteria, a dangerous pathogen capable of destroying peripheral blood vessels in a very short time. To save her life, doctors were forced to amputate both arms and both legs. Even so, vital organs such as her heart and brain were preserved. Charlotte became one of the youngest children in New Zealand to survive such a devastating medical crisis. A unique aspect of Charlotte's journey is growing up alongside medical assistive devices. From a very young age, her body had to learn how to develop without natural limbs. At the same time, she had to become familiar with using prosthetics early in life. For orthopedic doctors, combining assistive technology with a rapidly growing body is a major challenge. Charlotte has undergone many surgeries and device adjustments to ensure her prosthetics always match her height, weight, and the changes in her body at each stage of development. Charlotte's story does not end with her personal survival journey, but has also created a broader impact on the community. Her image has been used in several campaigns to raise awareness about meningitis vaccination. As a result, Charlotte's story has encouraged many families to vaccinate their children, helping reduce the risk of this dangerous disease. From a painful personal tragedy, her journey has become a symbol of the power of preventive medicine and the importance of protecting public health. Linda Bannon was born with Holt-Oram syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that caused her body not to develop arms while she was still in the womb. Instead of seeing it as a defect, Linda adapted by transferring almost all the functions of her hands to her feet. From a biomechanics perspective, this represents an extremely complex retraining process of the nervous system. Toes that normally only assist with balance now perform delicate tasks, such as writing, cooking, and using many everyday objects with remarkable precision. What is remarkable about Linda is her ability to maintain an independent life in a world designed for people with hands. She created her own living system where every item in her home is arranged to suit the range of motion of her feet. Neurologically, the areas of her brain responsible for controlling foot movement developed to be more flexible and precise than usual. As a result, Linda can perform tasks that require a high level of precision. Her story shows that the human body has an astonishing ability to compensate for functions when adapting to congenital limitations. Not only adapting for herself, Linda has also passed on this confidence and life skill to her son, who was born with the same syndrome. Her family has turned a genetic defect into a proactive and positive lifestyle. In that environment, physical differences are not seen as barriers, but as motivation to create new ways of movement. Through Linda's story, we see that human ability is not defined solely by physical structure, but also by the capacity to adapt, learn, and overcome limits that once seemed impossible. Jeffrey Ortega faces Proteus syndrome, an extremely rare genetic condition that causes bones, skin, and many tissues in the body to grow excessively and asymmetrically. From a biological perspective, his body resembles a growth system with a control malfunction. Jeffrey's left foot has swollen to several times its normal size and continues to deform over time. This abnormal growth causes prolonged pain and places immense pressure on his skeletal structure as well as his cardiovascular system, forcing his entire body to adapt in order to maintain even minimal mobility. A major turning point in Jeffrey's life came when he voluntarily requested surgery to remove the deformed foot. While medicine usually tries to preserve every part of the body, Jeffrey looked at the problem from a different perspective. He believed that removing the severely damaged part of his body could allow the rest to function more stably. This decision was like a necessary reset to end the constant pain. It was a difficult choice requiring careful consideration between losing a part of the body and the chance to improve his quality of life. Jeffrey's journey raises many important questions about how medicine intervenes in rare genetic diseases. What stands out about him is the courage to face reality and find the solution that best suits his own situation. This story reflects the conflict between the desire to preserve the body and the need to live a life with less pain. Jeffrey's decision also opens a discussion about a patient's right to make decisions about their own body. Sometimes accepting a loss becomes the first step toward a freer life. Harnam Kaur is a prominent figure in challenging norms surrounding gender and aesthetics. She has polycystic ovary syndrome (PCOS), a hormonal disorder that causes the body to produce unusually high levels of male hormones. As a result, Harnam began growing a thick beard during her teenage years. Biologically, this is a hormonal imbalance that directly affects physical characteristics. However, it also placed her in a prolonged psychological struggle as her appearance did not align with traditional social standards for women. A major turning point in Harnam's life came when she decided to stop hiding her difference. Instead of continuing to remove her facial hair to conform to conventional beauty standards, she chose to keep her beard as part of her personal identity and her religious belief in Sikhism. From a sociological perspective, this decision directly challenged traditional definitions of female beauty. Harnam turned what once made her feel insecure into a symbol of confidence. She shows that aesthetic standards are not fixed rules, but can be redefined. Harnam Kaur has turned a hormonal condition into a unique brand strength, forcing the world to redefine aesthetic standards. Her journey proves that difference is not a weakness, but the sharpest weapon for asserting personal identity within a system full of prejudice. Would you be willing to keep an unusual trait on your body to create a unique identity like Harnam? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit like, share, and give us a subscribe to support the next Decoding Stories. Sarah Todd Hammer is a typical example of how the motor system can be suddenly disrupted by transverse myelitis. This disease causes inflammation of the spinal cord, interrupting the neural signals between the brain and the body. From a technical perspective, it resembles a failure in the spinal cord's neural transmission line. Once a promising ballet dancer, Sarah had to face the reality when her legs no longer responded to her will. This sudden change forced her to completely restructure the way she lived and interacted with the world around her. However, what makes Sarah's story remarkable is her ability to redirect her creative energy. When physical movement was no longer her primary form of expression, she found strength in language and thought. Sarah became an author and activist, using writing to share her experiences after developing the illness. Her works not only describe the difficulties, but also analyze the process of mental adaptation. Through this, Sarah proves that when one ability is limited, people can still develop other strengths even more powerfully. Today, Sarah Todd Hammer is regarded as a symbol of redefining human ability in both art and life. She shows that the spirit of a dancer does not exist only in the legs, but also in discipline, rhythm, and the strength of the mind. As a speaker and screenwriter, Sarah has built a support network that helps her continue developing her career. Her story offers a profound perspective on how people maintain meaning in life when important physical abilities change permanently. Cary Velasquez faces osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as brittle bone disease, a condition in which the skeletal system severely lacks collagen, causing bones to become fragile and break as easily as crystal. From a systems analysis perspective, her body is a structure that requires the highest level of maintenance and protection, where even minor physical forces from the environment can trigger a cascading failure in the support system. This creates an extreme challenge for mobility and performing basic daily activities, forcing her to develop a survival strategy based on maximum caution. Cary's difference lies in how she has turned her wheelchair into a professional mobile workstation. As a talented makeup artist, she has optimized every movement of her hands to perform techniques that require meticulous precision and accuracy. From a biomechanical analysis perspective, Cary has maximized the use of the most stable parts of her body to compensate for the fragility of her skeletal system. She does not see her body as a faulty system, but as a unique structure that requires its own operating methods to achieve the highest level of performance in the beauty industry. Through social media platforms, Cary has built a powerful communication system to break stereotypes about people with disabilities. Her difference lies in her radiant confidence and her ability to turn physical limitations into a unique personal style. From an investigative perspective, Cary's story is a lesson in optimizing the software business mindset and artistic skills to rise above the limitations of the hardware, the skeletal structure. She proves that creativity has no limits, even when it exists within the most fragile physical framework. Mackenzie Trush is an example of navigating complex medical systems when facing rare conditions that affect development and mobility. From an analytical perspective, her life is a series of debugging efforts by medical experts trying to identify the root cause of a wide range of symptoms. Living with unclear diagnoses requires an extremely detailed personal health data management system where every reaction of the body is recorded in order to search for patterns or the most suitable intervention solution. Mackenzie's difference lies in her persistent dedication to long-term physical therapy routines. She treats daily training as a process of reprogramming the muscular and nervous systems to maintain as much mobility as possible. From a biological analysis perspective, this is a battle against natural degeneration, where personal determination acts as the primary engine, keeping the system from stagnating. Mackenzie has turned the recovery process into a lifestyle, proving that the stability of a system can sometimes be more important than sudden breakthroughs. Within the community of people living with rare diseases, Mackenzie serves as a connecting node, sharing practical experiences about interacting with social and medical support systems. Her difference lies in her ability to transform dry medical data into inspiring stories, helping others better understand the value of patience. Through the lens of storytelling, Mackenzie's journey demonstrates that human survival and growth depend greatly on the ability to maintain strong connections between individuals and the specialized support systems around them. Karina Rodini faces an extremely serious medical challenge with neurofibromatosis type 1, a genetic disorder that causes nerve tumors to grow uncontrollably on the body. In her case, the disease created a massive tumor on her leg, weighing nearly 30 kilograms. This tumor deformed her body and placed immense pressure on her circulatory system's skeletal structure and mobility. From a biological perspective, this is the result of cells losing the signal to stop dividing, forcing the body to struggle to adapt to an increasingly heavy physical structure. What makes Karina's story remarkable is the fact that many traditional surgical methods cannot fully resolve her condition. The tumor has a complex network of blood vessels, making complete removal a major risk to her life. As a result, Karina must live in a fragile balance between controlling the disease and protecting her overall health. She has learned to adapt to her body while continuing to monitor new treatment methods. Karina's case also reflects the limits that modern medicine still faces. Despite enduring great pain and social stigma, Karina remains resilient and refuses to lose hope. She shares her story to raise awareness about rare diseases and encourage empathy from the community. Her journey is not only a personal battle but also contributes to advancing medical research on genetic disorders. Through Karina's story, many people realize that determination and willpower can help individuals overcome challenges that once seemed impossible. She has become a symbol of hope and inner strength. At the end of decoding these 14 cases, we see that the human body is not a fixed machine, but an open system that constantly seeks ways to repair itself and adapt to extreme conditions. Whether through the intervention of modern medicine or the instinct for survival, from within each story is proof that when the genetic blueprint is challenged, human will can find new pathways of operation to preserve life. If you enjoy these in-depth analyses of medical phenomena and biological hypotheses, please hit like to support the team and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming investigations. Don't forget to leave a comment about the case that changed your perspective the most. Your opinion is valuable data for us to discuss in future videos.